Good morning, it's Tina Traster.
Hi, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say that it's time now for Tina Traster's Rockland County Business Journal report, brought to you by the law offices of Leonard Burbrower, and we'll have Tina right after this.
I'm Leonard Burbrower, a practicing personal injury attorney in Rockland County and the Hudson Valley. If you've had an accident, a fall down, or a work-related accident, I'm the person to see. 914-672-3775. I'm conveniently located in New City and available 24/7. The lawyer you choose can make a difference. Let me have the privilege of being that lawyer. Find me on Instagram and Facebook. 914-672-3775. I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, I'm a juggler, you know.
To help get as many
I know.
people.
I'm a juggler because I'm juggling Hannick and Tina and everybody else here. But that's why I get paid so well. Good morning, Tina.
Well, speaking of circuses,
Yeah.
yes, nothing like a good segue. As the good people of Rockland County know, especially those who are reading Rockland County Business Journal, the town of Orangetown has been working with the Chinese owners of the HNA Palisades Training Center on Route 9W to find a developer for the 106-acre property to reimagine it into something that generates tax ratables and benefits the community. This is the former IBM site that was bought by HNA back in 2016 and has been used largely as a hotel and conference center. The hotel has been shuttered for more than a year. I think partially, a victim of the pandemic, but probably deeper issues. It's more than 2 years behind on its taxes, and as I said, it's been on and off for sale for several years. Now, you may have also, if you're following the press, the business press, the HNA group in China is involved in a massive bankruptcy, along with 321 affiliated companies and subsidiaries. So HNA has been selling off its American properties for years. We reported when they recently sold off a hotel in New York City and also a resort in the Catskills in Kerhonkson, the Hudson Valley Resort and Spa. Some people may know that from years ago, decades ago, or recently. Anyway, a few months back, Orangetown, having legitimate concerns over who the buyer of the hotel complex might be after one deal fell through, stepped in and, working with HNA, started to steer the ship. And then last week, there was a presentation, a Zoom presentation, where 3 developers presented their proposals for redevelopment. Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, I was hearing a strange noise. So one would potentially bring a hotel to the site, possibly a Wyndham flag, along with residential development. That group includes Billy Procida from Piermont, from Procida Funding, as well as the developers who did the Woodmont development on Route 17 in Froatsburg, and also Toll Brothers, which is, as everybody knows, is a national home and apartment builder. A second proposal, centered around, and this was a sort of very ambitious, multiple sound stages and movie production facilities to the property. So this would presume that Rockland really could become some sort of a film center, because that proposal involved almost 1 million square feet of space for that use. And a third proposal sought to bring back the hotel and restaurant with, this is the one I called, I call this one Brooklyn in Rockland. It was a proposal to bring back the hotel and restaurant, but it also had lots of features like farming, textile manufacturing, woodworking crafts, co-working, all sorts of elements. And each of these proposals included some kind of housing. So Orangetown is holding a meeting on these proposals Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., kind of an odd time for a public meeting, but there you have it. And RCBJ has learned from an HNA insider that the Chinese bankruptcy will not affect HNA's ability to choose a developer and close on the property. We know that two years ago, HNA was willing to accept $40 million from a group in Brooklyn, but that group never was able to come up with the money, and so that deal fell through. So regardless of who Orangetown chooses, HNA has to be willing to accept the offering price. Ultimately, they own the property. The only way around that, if there were to be a conflict, is for the town of Orangetown to use its power of condemnation and eminent domain to take over the property and turn it over to one of the three developers who made the proposals. So, we are watching this story because it has a lot of implications. First of all, we're watching to see how this 106-acre parcel potentially is or redeveloped, or whether or not circumstances stall those efforts. We don't really have a handle on what that property is really worth. So, there was a prior appraisal which came in much lower, half of what that offer had been a year or so ago. This has the unusual situation where you've got a town of Orangetown that has stepped in to play some role in how a parcel gets developed when that parcel is privately held. And then just one other layer is, you have a company in China, and everybody who is close to these deals and on the inside, developers and the like, admit that it's a very strange scenario trying to deal with the Chinese government to try to get something done. So we are very much watching this story. We think it's interesting, and we think it's an interesting, potentially precedent-setting kind of story because there are other large parcels in the county which are in play, and it just kind of suggests that sometimes the private market doesn't always, I guess, operate independently. Sometimes, a government steps in and wants to help steer the fate. So watching this, keep a pin. We're publishing a story today that goes into the background of the HNA group in China's bankruptcy and what it means, but also what it does or doesn't mean for the property here in Palisades, in Orangetown. So,
how quickly do you think that could come about? It's been a problem for a long time now.
Which the problem being
that something actually happens there.
Yeah, I think it's very complicated for many different reasons. First of all, much of the structures on site, we're told, are very degraded and potentially obsolete. Flip side is it's a beautiful property with great bones, both for its physical attributes and also, the buildings there, the footprint, much can be done with it. But it's going to take a developer who really wants to bring a lot of money and capital. Where I see it, having the most viability, and maybe this is not to the liking of the people of Palisades or Orangetown, is, if you have a developer that's going to come in and build multifamily housing, that is how they can recoup the investment to resuscitate the hotel conference center into either a new hotel conference center or perhaps something else. So this has so many moving parts that I would not say that anybody should think about making a hotel reservation there anytime soon. I think it's a very long way off because you've got the public process, you've got zoning issues, you've got the agreement with HNA for a sale price, and then you're going to have Orangetown has said repeatedly that they want to balance the interests of tax generation with community assets. So what will that begin to look like? Will there be a push to keep the level of residential housing at a minimum? Will there be, will it be enough to offset that with maybe public walkways or a wellness center or the long-awaited swimming pool that Orangetown has wanted for so long. You know, I think there are just so many elements in play. But first and foremost, I suppose, is does any one of these developers come up with the right price tag for HNA? And I guess if they don't, you know, I don't know if that puts a screech in the whole thing, you know, or whether Orangetown steps in. There's going to be, like I said, a lot of moving parts and a lot to watch.
And your publication moves with it as it is online and is updated as needed every second, every minute of the day.
Yes.
The Rockland County Business Journal, that's rcbiz, B-I-Z, journal.com. Hey, Tina, thanks a lot.
All right, we'll talk to you
Talk
next
to you next